graduate defender number 24, Caitlin Parcell. A junior midfielder number 25, Julia Lees. A graduate defender number 27, Kelly Ann Livingstone. A freshman defender number 32, Cyan Doyle. And in goal, a junior number 1, Allie Auger. The assistant coaches are Naomi Myberger and Rick Staten. And the head coach of Georgetown University is Dave Nolan.
Yo, one can't talk.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise the table and remove your hats to honor America and those who support our freedom at home and abroad. And now please join in the playing of our national anthem. Georgetown University and the NCAA promote good sportsmanship by supporting the student athletes and officials in a positive manner. Profanity, derogatory comments, or other intimidating actions directed at athletes, officials, team representatives, or other fans will not be tolerated and are grounds for removal. We appreciate your cooperation in creating a safe and positive game environment. Respect, it's the name of the game.
We welcome you to the NCAA Women's Soccer Tournament here from Shaw Field in our nation's capital. The road to Santa Clara is on. It's the first round matchup between the Georgetown Hoyas, the Big East champions, taking on the Central Connecticut State University Blue Devils out of the Northeast Conference. Hi, everybody. John Fanta, Monica Moore, pleased to be with you from Shaw Field. What does this matchup come down to in your eyes?
Both teams have some explosive offensive players, some fantastic players in the midfield. There is talent all over the place, John. A little difficult conditions today here at Shaw Field. That's going to have an impact, but this game means everything to both of these two teams.
Central Connecticut getting by Fairleigh Dickinson, winning the Northeast Conference. Mick Darcy, their 22nd year head coach, has a terrific player in the top midfielder on the NEC Roman McLaughlin.
The statistics speak for themselves. 9 goals, 3 assists. The NEC Midfielder of the Year, so well deserved. She's going to be a huge factor.
On the other side, it's ironically the Big East offensive player of the championship last week, but she does so much defensively, Sydney Cummings for Georgetown.
I think she was as surprised as anyone to get the offensive award, but it was well deserved. The game winner, 3rd game winner of the year for Cummings.
Georgetown, Central Connecticut, NCAA Women's Soccer Tournament on a Saturday in November. The kickoff is next.
Weather conditions were very similar in that contest back in 2018 as they are here today. It is windy, it is rainy, and so the players are going to have to contend with that just like they did in that earlier meeting. Some of these players played in that contest.
What do you think that really changes?
I think it changes a lot, and we had an opportunity to talk with Dave Nolan about that as Georgetown looking inside to Vicari early on for a chance.
And nicely done by Sydney Dorman, the sophomore for the Blue Devils, to just send that away, but it's a corner for Georgetown.
And that was a great idea by Gia Vicari. She was looking for Jenna Royson, and that is how Gia Vicari's game has elevated in terms of the unselfishness looking to pass.
This nugget stands out. Georgetown, 138 corner kicks on the season. Their opponents just 66. Into Cummings, and somehow, some way, it was Erica Bardis who got her foot to it.
And that is something that Central Connecticut State is very prepared for today. If you scout this Georgetown team, you know how dynamic they are on corner kicks, and there is no one that is more dangerous than our player to watch, Sydney Cummings, and she almost had another one well defended by Central Connecticut State. They're going to have their hands full on those set pieces, trying to keep Cummings, Livingstone, and Julia Lease in check.
It bears noting that Aoife Horgan, the freshman center back for Central Connecticut State, is not in the starting lineup. It's believed that she's out of this game. Charlotte Simmons, a redshirt freshman, getting the start for her today. Something to monitor.
And when you play a team like Georgetown, defense is going to be critical. And so that is something today that Central Connecticut State is going to have to adjust to. But the good news for Central Connecticut State is they have a player like Erica Bardis, who is a phenomenal defender. She's truly phenomenal all over the field. She's a senior. She played in this meeting back in 2018, and they're going to need that leadership and that experience from Bardis on the back line.
Goalkeeper for the Blue Devils, Amanda McQuillan. Originally from Ireland, like her head coach, Mick Darcy. And you think about these two head coaches, they have great connections. They've actually been groomsmen in one of their buddies' weddings. Darcy and Dave Nolan, the Irish connections, and actually both served at one time or another as part of camps and clinics led by the legend in U.S. women's soccer, Tony DeCicco.
It's quite a coaching community, and Certainly great to hear these two coaches. They go back a long way, very good friends, and you look at the similarities between the two programs in terms of Georgetown really being a perennial powerhouse in the Big East. You look at Central Connecticut State, they are a perennial powerhouse in the NEC.
It's funny because, Monica, this is hard to think, but Georgetown with just one loss on the season, and it's the one common opponent that these two programs have, UConn.
Really a credit to what UConn was able to do this season. It was a great win for the Huskies here at Shaw Field. Their last game of the season, they really dug deep in that contest, and also getting that win over Central Connecticut State. I think that tells you so much about the Big East when you have 5 teams that make the NCAA tournament. UConn not won this year, certainly always a contender, but it was a tough conference this year. Really a credit to Georgetown to win the conference tournament, a credit to Xavier to win the regular season.
Grayson working corner. That's right, the Big East with 5 NCAA tournament teams, Xavier, Providence, St. John's, and Butler getting the at-large berths, most for the Big East Conference since 2010, and the highest percentage of teams that the league has had in 20 years, a historic year for the Big East. And now a corner for Fernandez-Powell, who had the assist on Cummings' goal in the championship game, and Central Connecticut State, Sydney Dorman making the play.
They have defended these set pieces very well so far. That is going to have to continue. You see how dynamic Georgetown is at winning the set pieces. And Maya Fernandez-Powell has been tremendous this year in terms of distributing the ball. We talked with Dave Nolan about her. He said she was also somebody that's certainly in the conversation to have been the most valuable offensive player of that Big East tournament. When you think about her ability to set up these set pieces, she has come into her own this year.
That's one up here, Lease just off target.
I think, John, that Maya Fernandez-Powell really hasn't gotten the credit that she has deserved on the year. And one thing people don't necessarily know is behind the scenes, the leadership that she brings. Dave Nolan telling us that it's really Maya Fernandez-Powell and Julia Lease a lot of the time that are the voices in the locker room, really getting this team going.
Well, you just think about this program, and Maya Fernandez-Powell comes in as a freshman to Georgetown, Monica, and starts to make an impact right from the get-go. But there's this gradual development, not only as a talent, but Fernandez-Powell now as a leader, following in those footsteps of players like Menta and Farrell and Paula Germino-Watnick, and the list seemingly goes on with the success, the pedigree of the Hoyas over these recent seasons, that when it is your time to be a senior, Dave Nolan expects you to lead, and that's what Maya Fernandez-Powell has done.
Well, that's certainly true, and that's something that you have to know if you come into a program like Georgetown. You may not start right from the beginning. You're going to have to wait behind some great players to get your time. Dave Nolan has talked about that with Fernandez-Powell. He's talked about that with Devin Liss, who has played behind some great midfielders. When you think about Carson Nizelek, when you think about Grace Nguyen. But then these players become juniors and seniors, and they step onto the field, and the level of play, the leadership, continuing the Georgetown tradition, it is really something to see. It's a credit to Coach Nolan and to his program.
The Central Connecticut team beating Fairleigh Dickinson 3-0 in the NEC championship game. A commanding performance, and 4 consecutive conference tournament titles. The consistency of the Blue Devils, it speaks for itself in the NEC. And Dave Nolan, Georgetown head coach, was so complimentary of what Mick Darcy's been able to do with a program that look, it's not a power conference situation, and yet they maintain their high level of play in a state with a lot of programs. You have recruiting battles, you have all kinds of those things. They've been able to make it work at CCSU and have a championship pedigree themselves.
They do, and certainly they have great international recruiting. They bring in players from Ireland, their goalkeeper, Amanda McQuillan.
Here's Vicari now. Gia Vicari, Hoya's top goal scorer, 9 on the season. Dishes it to Lease, Julia Lease. Top midfielder in the conference in the Big East this season. Turner just sends it over to the other end.
You see Turner just inching forward, giving Georgetown a little more numbers, pushing up on that right side. She does that so well because she can trust that Sydney Cummings will do exactly what she's doing right there, the coverage from the center back position. That is what Sydney Cummings brings to a team like Georgetown. It allows a player like Eliza Turner, who's really a midfielder by what she did in her club program, what she did in high school. She has a little more freedom to push forward into the offense, to be a little more dynamic, because you know you have Sydney Cummings watching your back throughout the entire game.
Cummings scoring the goal in the Big East Championship victory last Sunday over St. John's. 1-0 victory. It came on a corner, and now Julia Lease cutting that off and continuing the high pressure that the Hoyas have brought to the table.
And pressure is the word, John, in terms of what Georgetown is doing right now. We knew they were going to control possession. They were going to get some early set pieces. That's what Georgetown does. Credit to Central Connecticut State. I think they've weathered the storm of that first 10 minutes. You knew Georgetown was going to come out with so much energy playing here at home, the gravity of the situation, not just wanting to win this game, but to get yourself on a good path going into this tournament.
Here's Vicari now, left edge of the box. Good job by the Blue Devils. That was Charlotte Simmons who's getting the start in this game, keeping Vicari from getting a look.
And that was a good play there by Simmons, stepping in, handling one of the best from the Big East, not allowing her to get any room to try to create an offensive opportunity for Georgetown. Again, it's really been this back line for Central Connecticut State. They've been the storyline, holding strong, withstanding the storm that is Georgetown. You see how Julia Lease just controls the center of the field, and she's absolutely everywhere. Another nice defensive play with Central Connecticut State just stepping to the ball.
Blue Devils getting tested early, handling it well, like a championship program does. Now a long ball for Vicari down this left side. Simmons tracking it well, and Simmons able to win that battle.
You've seen Georgetown several times trying to get behind the defense like they did there. Fernandez Powell had a ball earlier. That's one way Georgetown. They have that speed of Gia Vicari. Her pace is difficult for defenses to deal with, and they're trying to get a ball back behind the defense for
Here's
Gia Vicari.
Julia Lease. Julia Lease! Saved by McQuillan.
That was a fantastic strike on that ball. Very good pace. Heading towards the goalkeeper. It's a nice save for McQuillan. She had just a little room, and that was a left-footed strike by Julia Lease.
The Big East midfielder of the year. Impacts the game all over. Now this is sent in. Middle of the box here, and Central Connecticut just plays keep away and sends this to the other end.
Georgetown giving a different look there on that corner kick. Daisy cleverly sending it inside. Once again was looking for Sydney Cummings, Kellyanne Livingstone over on that far post. Now Eliza Turner has ended up on the left side of the field for Georgetown.
Fernandez Powell, and instead Aaron Sutter, the freshman, coming up and taking it back. And this goes right to the feet of Cummings. Royson now. Another good defensive play. Made that time by Abby Chase.
McLaughlin just trying to stretch this out a little bit to get something going for the Central Connecticut State offense. They really have not had a lot of chances to set anything up.
Here's Sydney Dorman. A run here now. The Blue Devils looking to put up their biggest opportunity yet, but instead it's Daisy cleverly Stop that opportunity, and now a battle for it on the edge. Dorman keeps it alive. And this one will just float across the end line for Allie Auger to have the goal kick. What comes to mind when you think about what Georgetown's goalkeeper's been able to do this year?
Truly phenomenal what she has been able to do. She has come up in clutch moments for Georgetown. You think about the Texas game, you think about the Rutgers game, you think about some plays that she made heading down the stretch in the regular season where Georgetown was really in that battle with Xavier for first place in the conference, trying to hang on to second place to get that first round bye in the tournament. She really was the piece to the puzzle that Georgetown was missing coming into the season, getting her in the transfer portal. And the way she has come into this program, it really is, I think, the thing that has Georgetown poised to make a big postseason run, having a goalkeeper the caliber of Allie Auger.
Hoyas in that final third again now, where they've been the majority of the first 15 minutes. Royson dishes. They build their numbers up. Turner to the far end. Back to Turner now. A little trouble with it at first.
She's
Turner.
so comfortable with the ball.
Just a freshman, but the freedom she plays with is what is the difference, says her head coach, Dave Nolan.
And I think she's a big part of the future of this program. You think about what Georgetown's going to graduate, what they're going to lose at the conclusion of this season. Eliza Turner is going to be a big part of that future, coming back next year with all the minutes that she's logged on the field this year, all the experience that she's gotten, and playing on that back line with players like Cummings and Kellyanne Livingstone. That has been an education for the young freshman.
Now a dangerous ball here down the right side for Chase. Chase ahead. A shot. Auger saves it.
Just speaking of Allie Auger, it was a nice play. She saw it well in the air. Great positioning. This was good pressure by Georgetown as well. You have to credit Livingstone for getting back, and the closing speed of Jenna Royson. That is one of the things that comes to mind when you think of Royson. She's so quick. She can go inline to inline very fast for Georgetown, and that is one reason she plays that wing back role so well, moving between offense and defense fluidly.
That was Roma McLaughlin, the NEC midfielder of the year. And you just could see right there with her poise, that shot, why she's accounted for a third of the Blue Devils' goals this season.
Looks like the rain has stopped, at least momentarily. It's still a little windy here at Shaw Field.
Shaw Field, the busiest soccer pitch in the country.
Certainly a lot of excitement here on campus this weekend.
They've got more things going on at Georgetown. They already had 5 athletic events, and another one we'll get to in a second here as this ball is planted and right to the keeper, McQuillan.
That was Caitlin Parcell, who we haven't talked a lot about. She's that right wing back for the Hoyas, who really is such a perfect complement to Jenna Royson. Nice ball to the inside, trying to create something there, Caitlin Parcell, but you're seeing so much of the offensive balance that Georgetown has in terms of players that can get the offense going. It's not just Vicari. You've seen Parcell, you've seen Royson, you've seen Lease getting involved in the offense.
Cleverly.
We knew so much of this game was going to be about the midfield, players like Cleverly and Lease and Fernandez Powell.
Little chip to Vicari, it went off her back.
It was a nice idea.
Now from distance, this one just off target.
And she is capable of that. You think about Maya Fernandez Powell as the distributor. It was a nice strike, a little under it. But she has a great foot, Maya Fernandez-Powell, as we well know from all of the set pieces. I think that was a good idea by the Georgetown senior.
Now down the left side. This ball rolling, and on the left side of the box here, Sydney Cummings with the pursuit and the denial of a shot that'll lead to a central corner.
It will be the first corner kick of the afternoon for the Blue Devils. And again, credit Sydney Cummings. She is so calm, so composed, not allowing Central Connecticut State to get a shot there.
Central Connecticut, Roma McLaughlin.
Roma McLaughlin will take. Hoyas don't give up many of these. McLaughlin to the 6, and Cummings drills it.
When you look at the body of work of Sydney Cummings over the course of this season, to be able to come into a program like Georgetown and to make the impact, you know, you've only got 1 year to help make your imprint. It is amazing what she has been able to do from the first game of the season. There was really no transition period that I saw watching these games for the Hoyas. Certainly the coaching staff may have seen it in the preseason preparing, but it, to me, appeared absolutely seamless. It looks like Sydney Cummings has been on that back road for years.
So for the Blue Devils, a free kick opportunity.
You don't see this every day.
No, I got to tell you, I don't know if I've ever seen this.
You have the goalkeeper, Amanda McQuillan, past the midfield line to take this free kick. That was a beautiful ball.
Yeah, well, you could see why she took it. That was a solid service in.
So we may see more of that from the All-NEC tournament goalkeeper, Amanda McQuillan.
61 saves on the season, a .79 goals against average. And I got to tell you, it's refreshing to see the sun peeking through now.
It is actually becoming a beautiful afternoon. And we mentioned earlier weathering the storm, John. But right now, conditions improving. And as you said, the sun has come through. And now it's looking like a beautiful day to play soccer.
It's kind of like Ireland weather.
I think our coaches probably feel very at home right now on this pitch.
Yeah, just hand Dave Nolan a pint.
Wait till the end of the game.
Okay, yeah, right. We don't encourage that in game. I'll tell you what, though. Thinking about the fact that Dave Nolan and Mick Darcy were groomsmen in the same wedding, that had to be quite an evening.
Absolutely. A lot of personality, great friends.
If only we had footage.
I'm sure they hope we don't.
You know, it was interesting, and I think both coaches would say this. We as broadcasters love to reflect on big moments, but that wasn't the theme for these two teams. They're focused on this task at hand. Georgetown looking for an opportunity, and a nice job by Simmons just to lace that back.
It was a nice job by the Hoyas connecting on a couple of passes, really trying to create a good quality chance.
Royson, nifty. Now Lease. And a collision. Zoe McGlynn.
Two of the most gritty players on the field in a collision. When you think of Zoe McGlynn, when you think of Julia Lease, I think the word gritty is one of the first that comes to mind for both of them.
Doyle trying to win it. Sydney Dorman making the play for the Blue Devils. And now McGlynn, and the official will whistle things for Central.
It has been all Georgetown in this game so far. Central Connecticut State, a couple of chances, but the Georgetown defense has been able to close those out. But I think this is exactly what we expected in this game so far. And I think the thing for Central Connecticut State, you certainly know if Georgetown keeps getting those chances, eventually they're going to find the one. You'll see the Blue Devils try to control a little bit more. That is a goal for them, just to take some possession away from Georgetown. It is easier said than done.
Winner of this game will meet the winner of Santa Clara and Stanford. That game kicks at 4 Eastern time this afternoon. Royson ahead, left side of the box. The carry, contact, and nothing.
The crowd was looking for the call. There will not be one. The carry working very hard for the Hoyas there. And again, Georgetown's passing has been very crisp on the afternoon to create that chance for the Hoyas. We're going to get another look here to try to see the contact.
That is a blatant. That is a blatant foul.
Is a call.
She got tripped.
She got tripped in the box. So that is a moment there, a moment of luck for Central Connecticut State that they were not looking at a penalty kick.
Wow.
And you see how quickly the tides turn on the other end of the field as Royson gets knocked to the ground.
You know, Monica, sometimes it's one of those things where it's bang, bang, and it's tough to tell. But on our replay.
Well, and we certainly have the chance to see that on replay, not in real time. But when you look on the replay, you see the push in the box. I have to tell you, every time I see Julia Lease do that, I hold my breath a little bit in terms of the whiplash on the field.
Now Fernandez-Powell turns. Here's Doyle, the freshman, over to Fernandez-Powell. Hoya's building up again, and that one just cut off by the Blue Devils. Now a turn by McGlynn. Central looking to build now themselves. Dorman over to the far end. Nice sequence here by Central Connecticut.
They were very smart to shift from east to west to try to stretch out the field a little bit, but you're seeing the strength of Georgetown's midfield, just breaking that up. It is very hard to keep possession against Georgetown's midfield.
So Aoife Horgan has come onto the pitch for Central Connecticut. Now, she did not start. Actually, we have a correction here, it sounds like. We'll wait to hear it. Less than 19 to go in this first half.
Georgetown has Devin Liss waiting to come in at the next opportunity. So both coaches now will look to go to their benches. Have to imagine we'll probably see a bit of Erica Harwood as well. At some point during this first half, the Georgetown coaching staff so pleased with what she has been able to do in her freshman campaign, the way that she has evolved in this Georgetown program, which is very hard as a freshman.
Kellyanne Livingstone to Royson. Now Lease with some space. Lease, it was an interesting thought, but it comes up harmless to McQuillan and the Blue Devils.
Well, it was not a shot, I don't believe. Trying to get something going for Gia Vicari, who has all that speed. Fernandez-Powell is going to come out. Devin Liss will come in. So,
you know, just to clarify, Aoife Horgan on the pitch, and she was such a vital part of the NEC championship run. It looks like that she's wearing something on her right leg. She has a bandage. She did not start, and she's been one of their stars, so interesting to see her come into this game now. Lease, left side in the box. Vicari, and cleverly couldn't get to it in time. Now to Lease, Vicari.
Didn't get the strike she wanted on that one, but another nice series by Georgetown. They have been so dangerous. And what really stands out, the piece to the puzzle, Julia Lease, her stepping in to get that first ball, to get that sequence going for Georgetown. There are so many things that she does. There's no place on a stat sheet for it in soccer. But she got that series going for the Hoyas.
Now Lease off the turn. Lease just relentless. This touch a bit too firm, and it'll head on out.
As you said, a little too heavy there. Another nice idea. She has looked for Gia Vicari all day. You get the sense Georgetown would really like to get number 10 going. She's been the favored target up front. She has had some beautiful passes. They haven't gotten her the right goal scoring opportunity yet. But I think Georgetown has felt like that is one of their strengths in this game, is the speed of Gia Vicari to try to get past and behind this defense of Central Connecticut State.
It was interesting because Dave Nolan, as we were talking to him on the Zoom call yesterday, he had Vicari outside his office as she takes over now, and he told her, you don't just have to be the goal scorer. You can make plays in different ways. But she's also good at scoring goals, and nearly just did right there as McQuillan dives to her right.
And this is something a little new in her arsenal. I haven't seen her take that many shots from that degree of distance. That was a quality strike by Vicari. But I've really seen that progression from her in terms of buying into what the coaching staff has been talking about all season, that you can't be that one-dimensional player in Division I college soccer. You really have to be just as capable of giving that beautiful pass, and we have seen a lot more of that out of Gia Vicari. 7 assists on the year now.
9 goals. It's interesting in the region that Georgetown's in the 64-team NCAA tournament. The Hoyas are now the second highest seed remaining after UCLA fell last night to UC Irvine, an upset in the opening round by the Anteaters, a 1-0 win. This sums it up. 8 shots on goal for the Bruins, just 1 for UC Irvine, and it resulted in the game winner. And so UC Irvine will meet Wisconsin, who took down Butler, next weekend. That's in the Hoyas pod. Here, a free kick. Handled well by Georgetown. Now that blocked.
And it certainly is true in the game of soccer. All you need is that one good opportunity and some fantastic defense. And that is exactly what you get there. Wow, Cyan Doyle.
Oh, my.
Got the worst of that. She's going to quickly get back to her feet. Training staff was coming on, and they're still – Cyan Doyle does not look to be bothered in the slightest, but I think because of it hitting her face, the training staff needing to come and just ensure that the freshman for Georgetown is okay with the concerns there. She seemed to think she was going to continue playing there.
Gosh.
John.
I mean, she took that, the fact she got up and now is jogging.
And so we're going to see Sophie Fox come on for Cyan Doyle. She's smiling, no worse for wear. And, you know, everything that Dave Nolan has told me about her this season, it all checks out now in terms of Cyan Doyle. Just as kind of this happy-go-lucky kid. Unbelievable. You know, John, we were talking with the Georgetown men's coach yesterday. He was talking about one of his phenomenal players, Sean Zawodzki, who just, you know, would take a hit like that and keep going. I think that's Cyan Doyle out on the field for the Hoyas. Unbelievable.
That is really something. And look, Dave Nolan said she's a classic Colorado kid. Even-keeled, easygoing.
And that is exactly what you see there. You have to imagine we'll see her back if she has any say in it. Of course, the training staff has to sign off. But that was quite a hit to the face there.
If I took that kind of a hit, I'd be laid up in the Georgetown Hospital next door to here.
I would be by myself for this broadcast, I think, if either one of us. So anyway, credit to Cyan Doyle for just being able to handle that. And again, hope that we see her back.
Oregon, then Royson makes another play. The ground that Jenna Royson covers for this Georgetown team.
It really has stood out at select moments in this game in terms of her coverage on the field, her ability especially tracking back defensively, which is where she's made her biggest impact for the Hoyas in this contest.
Cummings with the left foot. Now to Cleverly. Cleverly with space. And
I think she held on to it a little too long there, allowed the midfield to close in.
now down the far side. Hoyas looking to build up again here. It's out wide, served up to the 6. Lease with the back foot. Now right on front, blocked.
What a defensive play for Central Connecticut State to come up big there. There was so much action going on. That was McLaughlin, the phenomenal midfielder. It's going to be a Georgetown corner kick, but there was so much going on. So many different Hoyas in scoring opportunity there. This is very well defended. That was cleverly on the strike, but McLaughlin living up to her billing.
Parcell, Lease, the savviness with the back foot, and then cleverly, and the Hoyas continue to threaten here. Royson, it went off a Blue Devil, it looked like, and it does.
It was Simmons.
Corner.
This defense for Central Connecticut State has been tremendous in the first half of this contest, and it looks like cleverly heading over to take this since Maya Fernandez-Powell is currently on the bench.
5th corner of the half for the Hoyas. It sent in, that went right off the post and out.
We're actually going to see Tatum Linane over at the scores table for Georgetown. Giovanna Inzarello for Central Connecticut State. So these coaches now getting some players in, but Gia Vicari still out on the field for the Hoyas.
It's Linane in for Cleverly. We didn't see Linane last weekend.
We did not. She's gotten a lot of good minutes for Georgetown this year in that midfield. Georgetown, that is where they've struggled in terms of injuries and health-related issues, have not had their full depth in the midfield, and Tatum Linane has stepped in and given the Hoyas some good minutes there.
Lease just laces on over, right side of the box now. The Hoyas have had plenty of opportunities, the 6 shots, 5 corners in this first half. Now Royson with a run out wide. Jenna Royson and a pair of Blue Devils stave off this opportunity.
I am very impressed with Sydney Dorman.
And the official whistles the Hoyas for a foul.
You certainly see why Sydney Dorman was on the NEC All-Tournament team. She has had to stand very strong today for Central Connecticut State. She's had her hands full because Gia Vicari has been over on her side of the field for almost the entirety of the game.
And they'll bring McQuillan up to take this free kick. Well, you've weathered the early storm. You've had a couple of opportunities in the final third. Nothing too dangerous, but for Central Connecticut State, when we talk about it taking one moment, this program beat Rutgers in 2019 in this tournament. They are more than capable of pulling off a win. That's the expectation for the Northeast Conference champions.
You know, that being said, John, we had one of the Big East men's semifinals here on Thursday, Providence-Butler, and this game is a little reminiscent in terms of Providence controlled the first half of that game, Butler back on their heels. Butler not happy with not taking as much control. We saw a shift in them in the second half of that game, even though they weren't able to get the win. I think for Central Connecticut State, that's a big thing they're going to focus on as well here, just needing to take a little more control, trying to generate a few more opportunities, having a little more sustained possession to get that one opportunity.
Now on the right side, a pair of Blue Devils trying to keep this from being sent in. It's a throw.
Very nearly a corner, so a smart defensive play there, not giving up the corner. It'll be a throw for Caitlin Parcell, KP, as they call number 24. And so finally, Erica Harwood coming over to the scorers table, very likely for Gia Vicari.
Right side, Lise to Linane, and Central Connecticut just send this back out for a throw. And now Harwood does come in. What does she bring to the pitch?
So she's a different look. She's a different player than Gia Vicari. Dave Nolan telling us about this, in fact, saying that really I think she's the player that surprised him the most. Usually when freshmen come into the program, if they're not really ready at that preseason time to step into the program, it usually takes them to the spring to be able to adapt. But with Harwood, it has been this steady, continued progression in this season, and now she's really poised to be a big contributor next year and for the remainder of this year. It has been a very eventful first half in this game. Georgetown with a number of opportunities, a number of corner kicks, but have not been able to get past this defense of Central Connecticut State.
A ball for Harwood. Central Connecticut having a little bit of trouble with it and then able to send it back the other way. Now Royson skies this one in the midfield.
We've talked a lot about Jenna Royson getting back on coverage today. And now Caitlin Parcell really taking over on that right side of the field.
What a run by Parcell, and she earns the corner. Caitlin Parcell doing work for the Georgetown Hoyas.
That's classic Georgetown soccer right there, really using those flank players like Caitlin Parcell. We've seen some fancy footwork out of Parcell today. Her ability to try to cross that ball. She wins the corner kick.
So it'll be Linane who lines up here, the sophomore. 7th corner of the match for the Hoyas. This is sent in middle of the box, and this one just spins out to the edge here, and they'll have an 8th corner in this opening half.
That's the experience of Kellyanne Livingstone, recognizing where she was, where the defender was, and what she needed to do. Because that's a defender making a clutch play up top.
Can't bring this up enough. Georgetown now with 145 corners to 67 for their opponents on the season. Liss to the 6. Cummings got her head on it, and it'll be a goal kick for McQuillan.
That's what Georgetown was trying to do there. Once again, looking for Sydney Cummings. 5'10". She's a very good target in the air. But Georgetown, they just wear you down. They get those opportunities. They just keep coming at you in waves. Julia Lease, relentless.
Now, in the final third again for the Hoyas. Can they find that moment? Great ball, now in the middle of the box in a real dangerous spot, and was almost just a step ahead on the initial pass. And now another throw here for the Blue Devils, but that was nearly as dangerous of an opportunity from center on that the Hoyas have gotten.
Harwood hoping someone that could just come forward on that ball. It was a nice idea. And that's Harwood right there. She fits in so well with this program, the energy with which she plays, just seeing intensity there.
And her length at 5'10", but she looks even taller than that. Another look here. Yeah, break call there. So now free kick for Roma McLaughlin. 9 goals, 3 assists on the season for the NEC Midfielder of the Year. She just goes short with it here. Dorman, and a foul on the Blue Devils. So you've got 3 minutes and change left in this first half. It's been commanded by the Hoyas.
That's certainly what we expected coming into this game, just knowing the personnel out on the field. This is Georgetown's style of play. This is what they tend to do in terms of controlling the midfield, controlling time of possession, connecting on passes. I think the Hoyas would love to try to get a few more balls back behind that defense, but they are going to keep coming at you in waves.
But if you're the Blue Devils and you can head to that locker room in a scoreless affair, that was such a well-taken ball by McQuillan. It went all the way to Auger. Wow. What a rocket from the Central Connecticut keeper.
You certainly see why that is the player that they have for those opportunities.
Here's Royson now with a chip. Harwood was the intended receiver, if you will, and Central Connecticut just slicing it back. And so a throw here for Royson. Final 2 minutes at the half.
Royson has got a very good throw and a nice play by McQuillan, just coming out quickly, not letting anything evolve there from that play. McQuillan, she really puts the ball back in play so well for her team. Certainly see why she has garnered the accolades she has this year, has been a top goalkeeper in the NEC.
A junior.
1 minute remaining in the first half.
And for Central, this has been a gritty effort despite having to defend the majority of this opening stanza. This team, the Northeast Conference champions, they've come here today, and it's always tough to play at Shaw Field, but they've handled the challenge thus far well, and now about 30 ticks away from heading in the locker room and being in a scoreless affair with a number 3 seed, the NCAA tournament.
And I think really what stands out to me about this defense, you think about that one play where McQuillan had to punch the ball over the net. Otherwise, this defense has done such a good job not putting McQuillan in a place where she really has had to make any type of dynamic plays.
Well, Georgetown Butler last week, Georgetown St. John's last Sunday, both scoreless at the half before the Hoyas then found the breakthroughs. Here today, scoreless in the NCAA tournament first round, and it's Central Connecticut that has come here to DC and fought off the opportunities.
I think Central Connecticut State has to be very happy with their defense. That back line was tremendous. They're going to talk about how they can generate a little more either in transition, in the run of play, to try to get those good looks in the second half. Meanwhile, for the Hoyas, they have had some good chances. They just haven't found that quality strike to be able to finish.
We are at the half between the Hoyas and Blue Devils. Lease and Georgetown getting opportunities. 8 shots in the opening 45. But we are scoreless at the break. You're watching the NCAA Women's Soccer Championship.
The NCAA thanks official equipment supplier Wilson for their support of NCAA championships. Their contributions help enhance the educational and athletic experience of nearly 500,000 NCAA student athletes. The 2021 NCAA Women's College Cup is heading to Santa Clara, California. Sharing the experience is for the top Division I soccer teams in the country will descend on Stevens Stadium to compete for a national championship. The NCAA Women's College Cup takes place December 3rd and 5th in Santa Clara, California. Hosted by the West Coast Conference and San Jose Sports Authority, tickets are on sale now. Visit ncaa.com/Women's College Cup to purchase your tickets today and make a date with the champions. And fans, if you're not able to make it out to California for the games, remember to tune in to watch College Cup live on ESPNU December 3rd and 5th. Visit ncaa.com/Women's College Cup for more details and game times in your area. Fans, you can now access the official NCAA digital game program on your mobile device, tablet, or laptop free of charge. Visit ncaa.com/game programs for an inside look at today's championship.
Welcome back to the first round of the NCAA Women's Soccer Tournament. John Fanta, Monica Moore with you. Georgetown and Central Connecticut scoreless through 45. And as we take a look at these highlights, the Hoyas out shooting the Blue Devils 8-1.
And that was probably the best chance of the afternoon for Georgetown off that Julia Lee strike. And here Gia Vicari getting another one from distance. Those were the two saves for Amanda McQuillan in the first half of this contest.
The Hoyas threatening. This was another point-blank look from Cleverly, blocked by a Blue Devil, helping out McQuillan. And that was as strong of a chance that Central Connecticut had coming off the foot of Zoe McGlynn, the NEC Tournament MVP. And McQuillan taking this free kick from distance. She showed why she is the one sending it in for the Blue Devils.
Absolutely. Lots of different skills for McQuillan, a very diverse player. We were commenting earlier about having her come out to take those free kicks, but you can certainly see why. She puts the ball in play very well.
Nick Darcy in year 22 at the helm at Central Connecticut. What do you think he had to say to his ladies at the break?
I think it is just taking a little more control of the contest, trying to control the midfield a little more to try to generate these chances. They have to be very quick in transition. You've seen how difficult it is to get past this Georgetown defense. They are so quick in terms of getting back, in terms of the coverage. Jenna Royson, Sydney Cummings, and Kellyanne Livingstone today, when called upon, have been very strong. So I think that's a big focus for Central Connecticut State. But this defense, they stood strong. They're going to have at least another good half in them. We could go to overtime the way these two teams are playing right now. I was very impressed with Sydney Dorman. She has had a great postseason so far for Central Connecticut State. They're going to need more of that level of play, particularly if she has to track Gia Vicari in this second half.
It's been interesting here. The last two Georgetown wins over Butler and St. John's, Monica, it's come right in that 55 to 65 type of minute mark, somewhat early in the second half when they've been able to strike. That has been a theme.
They certainly wear you down. They just keep coming at you till they find that moment of brilliance in order to make you pay. If you keep giving more quality chances to Georgetown, they will get it in the back of the net.
Central Connecticut in the blue and gray, Georgetown in the white. John Fanta, Monica Moore with you. And NCAA tournament action, day 2 of the tournament. We've already seen one upset in this region. UC Irvine beating UCLA as this is knocked out for a Hoya corner. They had 8 in the first 45.
You have a somewhat rested Gia Vicari who got about 8 minutes of rest at the conclusion of the first half. Very hungry to try to make something happen as quickly as she can. You can always just see it on the face of Gia Vicari, how hard she tries in order to try to generate these goal-scoring opportunities.
Here's Fernandez Powell. This is how the Hoyas scored against St. John's this past Sunday. Headed by Lease, off target and out. And the official must have gone off a Blue Devil as well. We'll whistle another corner. They're now up to 10.
Maya Fernandez Powell has given Georgetown some good chances. You see Georgetown doing something a little different here, switching things up.
Vicari trying to get it back. She does. Vicari and Zoe McGlynn making the defensive play. It'll be a Hoya throw.
The NEC tournament MVP. She was so huge in both of those contests. Truly a catalyst for Central Connecticut State. She's only a junior. And Georgetown has come out in the first minute and a half. Third corner kick of the half for the Hoyas.
We were alluding to, this is how they've buttered their bread the last couple of games. It's coming out in the second half and just taking it to another level. Against Butler, goals in 60th, 66. Now this corner laid in, and the Blue Devils able to stave off this opportunity.
They have been good in the air. And that was Roma McLaughlin again. Just getting ahead on that ball. She has been tremendous defensively.
Well, it's interesting here is on the right edge. I think back to a quote of the many quotes that Dave Nolan can make. He told us yesterday that sometimes goals are kind of like a bus stop. That you'll be sitting there waiting a half hour for your bus, and then there'll be two that come in as many minutes.
Well, that's exactly right. We saw that, for instance, in the Providence-Butler game on Thursday. 2 quick goals for Providence in that contest, and you sometimes feel like you could write a book with some of the things that Dave Nolan says, all the great comments, but it certainly is true in the game of soccer. You have to be patient. You have to keep doing the little things, the fundamentals, to put yourself in good scoring chances, and the goals will come. But I know for Georgetown this year, that has been the frustration. They have not been able to find the back of the net as much as they would like. That's how they got in trouble in some of those games. They ended up with a lot of ties. Dave Nolan saying that in years past, they could go down a goal and they felt confident they'd be able to get a couple back. But this year they've struggled a little bit on the finishing at times.
13-1-6 are these Hoyas. And yeah, 6 draws. Dave Nolan says that this Georgetown team is as tough as any to beat.
And the record certainly shows it. There has only been that one team, the UConn Huskies, that have defeated Georgetown, and they were able to do it here at home, which has been almost impossible to do, to beat Georgetown here at Shaw Field. So really a credit to UConn finishing their season with really a statement win for the Huskies.
Margaret Rodriguez and her program with the day to remember. As now they're looking at the flag down on the edge, and that flag's gotten its work in.
And they're just gonna leave that there for now, but certainly you have to expect the way Georgetown has been taking corner kicks, we're gonna be down there quite a bit in this contest for the remainder.
We should mention that Connecticut beating Georgetown here, and Connecticut beating Central Connecticut earlier this season, that Jen Prazo, an assistant coach for the Blue Devils, is the twin sister of Margaret Rodriguez, the head coach of UConn.
Soccer truly is a family game.
Parcell with the left foot. Handed out for yet another corner.
This is the 4th corner in 4.5 minutes that Georgetown has won. They went with something different on that last corner. They went for a short ball to Cleverly, who went over to Vicari.
A dozen corners now. They just live there. Fernandez Powell.
Didn't get the height on that ball that she wanted. And I think Georgetown a little frustrated, not able to really get that quality chance off of all of these corners.
Now Central taking it over. McLean Lease just stopped her in her tracks. Now Turner with a nice move. Turner off the cut. Eliza Turner, who scored in the Big East tournament. Turner right side the box. Feeds it. Lease, shot blocked. And diving McQuillan. Oh, a sequence for the Hoyas that has them as close as ever.
It took you back to the semifinals of the Big East Women's Tournament. Eliza Turner getting the game winner. Right now we have a Blue Devil
stop things, and they do.
Down on the field. Is that McLaughlin?
All right, we're going to take another look at that last play. Ready, Blue, not the injury. Ready, and...
Take a look at Eliza Turner, the footwork, the confidence on the ball. She hands off to Cyan Doyle. Julia Lease got a good strike at it. But who is it? It's Sydney Dorman and Charlotte Simmons, who we have talked so much about today. And I do believe that that's Roma McLaughlin down on the field. I certainly hope this is nothing serious for the NEC Midfielder of the Year, as she is sitting up now, but not back on her feet.
They really need her. She scored 9 goals on the season. Has to come off now. See Aaron Sutter trots back on. And we just hope that Rowan McLaughlin is okay.
Coming off under her own power, does not appear to be that shaken up, but we will see. And actually, she's heading right over, so I think we'll see her back quickly.
She's not missing any time this afternoon.
This is not the game
Nope.
where you want to be sitting on the bench, as this is win or go home for these two squads. And you see the gust of wind coming in now. That wind has been a factor, but it has picked up again.
Parcell being tracked by Kelly. Kelly does a good job on Parcell. Another, just one of many. The little things defensively that Central's done, it's easy to see why this team was the top in the NEC with a lot of the things that they've had to handle this afternoon, Monica. The fact is, Georgetown has controlled possession the majority of the way. They've had opportunity after opportunity as Lisa's fouled, and yet Central's just done a good job in those key areas in that penalty box of defending and figuring out ways to manage.
They led the league in goals against average, 0.78, and you just see why. They really have every piece to the puzzle in terms of the defense. We haven't really even talked a lot about Erica Bartas today. A lot of the play has been over on that right back side, and it's been Sydney Dorman who's been called upon quite a bit, working alongside Charlotte Simmons.
Royson. And the flip side of it is, for Georgetown, finding that one, because this team, as Parcell works it for another corner, a baker's dozen now.
And Caitlin Parcell has been instrumental in this second half. She has really come alive at the end of the first half. You think about that big run that she made down the right side, and she has been tremendous in what she has done on the right for Georgetown in the second half.
Fernandez Powell. Left side now. The turn. Livingstone. Some contact there. That went off Livingstone, and it'll be a Central throw.
Unlucky for Livingstone there. She was trying to make something happen to keep that ball in play. And again, I think you can sense the frustration of Georgetown just feeling like they're getting the chances, but just not able to capitalize, and you can't take anything away from the defense. For Central Connecticut State, they have really shown their mettle against Georgetown, all the firepower that Georgetown has been able to throw at them. But this is where they've struggled, just to maintain possession, to try to create something in their offensive third.
Because just a simple sequence like that, where a ball gets placed to one of your attacking players, and Cummings is there defensively, and Leash just gets rid of it. The physicality of those two players alone, and just like that, Georgetown gets it back.
And that's going to be the issue for Central Connecticut State. They have to withstand the Georgetown offensive attack, but they also have to try to be able to create that key moment for the Blue Devils.
The carry turns. Now a turn for Central, and the official whistling a foul. That will give the Hoyas an opportunity here. 9 minutes into this second half, we get a yellow card as well, our first booking.
This will be Fernandez Powell again from some distance, but Georgetown, they're going to push Sydney Cummings back up into the offense right here, really treating this just like a corner.
McLaughlin charged with the yellow. Here's this free kick coming in, and Livingstone just couldn't get her head to it.
Grazed the ponytail there of Kellyanne Livingstone, who tried so hard to get a piece of that What a career Kelly Ann Livingstone has had for Georgetown.
The wind took that ball. And now Lease taken down by Kelly. Julia Lease has had some falls to the pitch here this afternoon.
She certainly has, and you think about the way that she plays, it's just no fear. She comes flying into these situations. She often gets the worst of it in terms of it. Now she's limping just a little bit. I love the way she plays, though. You can just feel the passion in the game from Julia Lease in such quality soccer.
Fernandez Powell to the back post. It's in! Georgetown breaks through and has the lead.
And you felt like Georgetown was going to score on a set piece. They've gotten so many chances, and this time they finally find the back of the net. They just push those numbers forward. They have so many players that can capitalize.
We'll take another look and see who it was. There was a pair of Hoyas inside the 6. Kellyanne Livingstone was in the vicinity, and it looks like she may be credited with the score. Here's another look. It just went off the right side of Kellyanne Livingstone, literally off her chest and in.
And you have to credit Maya Fernandez Powell. I think that young athlete does not get the credit that she deserves. Think about how many good balls she has served up today, finally able to capitalize.
For Kellyanne Livingstone, her 3rd goal of the season. Daisy Cleverly credited with her 3rd assist. And hey, it wasn't maybe the most dangerous sequence, but quite literally on the chest of Livingstone, just getting to the ball and went to the opposite post past McQuillan, and now they have their goal. And this is a team now with a 1-0 advantage that has only allowed 9 goals on the season.
And Georgetown just keeps coming at you. But now the tone of the game has completely changed. Central Connecticut State had been fantastic defensively defending these set pieces. They had done everything they've needed to do. But Georgetown just breaks you down. And John, you made the comment about the juncture of the games when this seems to happen.
Yes.
And that is exactly what we've seen today.
This is now the 3rd straight game in which we've hit that 55-minute mark and Georgetown has just swung it. They found that breakthrough. Now on the left side of the box. And I think what we're seeing now is what we saw against Butler last week, Monica, where Georgetown scored, and then this is not a team that scores and suddenly just sits back and changes. They are who they are.
Absolutely, and this is the NCAA tournament. This is the time to bring everything that you have, and Georgetown is not going to sit back on their heels. They are looking for some insurance right now. They know about all the dangerous weapons that Central Connecticut State has on their roster. And so you're going to see Georgetown play with as much fire and intensity, if not more, because the Hoyas right now know that they're in the driver's seat, but there is a lot of soccer left to be played. And McLaughlin.
Here's McLaughlin, Roma McLaughlin, and there Eliza Turner.
In a collision with Sydney Cummings.
Again, the task at hand now, you're facing a Georgetown team that's just conceded 9 times on the entirety of the season. One of the top marks in women's college soccer.
When you think about the Georgetown defense, it has been almost impossible to get past them. Look at Vicari's speed as that ball knocked away by Lawler.
And the Hoyas will have a throw. And that's the thing now is you're in a position where if you're Central, you can't give up a second. Lease to Parcell. And a little miscommunication taken back by the Blue Devils. And a through ball here that was for Kelly Brady. Cummings does her job. Back to Auger, who we've barely mentioned today.
Georgetown has kept the ball almost entirely in their offensive third, particularly in this second half. The Hoyas came out of the locker room and elevated their level of play. I think, John, you could tell they just weren't pleased, and they wanted to up that level. They really wanted to be able to capitalize on some of the opportunities.
Royson works it in. The carry with a turn. She sends this one back and nobody home.
Royson is just relentless on the field. But I think that's the thing when you start thinking about teams that can make it to that Final Four of the College Cup. You have to have that mentality where it's not your coach at this point who's the one saying you have to get more quality looks, you have to capitalize. It's those voices in the locker room. It's the Julia Least. It's the Maya Fernandez-Powell. It's the Kellyanne Livingstone, a player who's been there before, telling these young players, this is what it takes.
The goal in the 56th. Daisy Cleverly sending in a ball to the back post. Kellyanne Livingstone just getting her chest on it. And it doesn't matter. Style points the NCAA tournament. They don't matter. Just ask UC Irvine, who beat UCLA last night with just one shot on the entire game on target. Now Fernandez-Powell up ahead to Cleverly. Cleverly with the left foot. Absolutely beautiful. A Saturday daisy. And Georgetown makes it 2-0.
That is only the second goal of the year for Daisy Cleverly. But that was a beauty in terms of the strike, the placement on that shot, and really great foreshadowing, John, when you're talking about the goals coming in waves, getting that second goal, really the floodgates opening up, Georgetown getting a beautiful goal from Cleverly. When you have a player on your roster with the experience of Daisy Cleverly, a player who has played with the New Zealand national team. She has gotten that experience, the Olympic experience. This is that experience coming through. That was a wonder strike by Cleverly. There is no goalkeeper that would have stopped that one.
Daisy Cleverly, Big East Midfielder of the Year last year. And she doesn't even practice right now because she's had to battle through a little bit of injuries, but also a lot of work because she's been working with the New Zealand national team program and has had to miss some spurts of time just with the workload she's had to manage. And so she's bringing it to games and bringing it in a big way today with an assist and a goal. And it just goes to show you, Monica, Daisy Cleverly, who's had to work with New Zealand and come back here and do work with Georgetown. Maybe she hasn't had the season she had last year, but here in the NCAA tournament, she shows her incredible value.
You know, it's interesting, though, John, because talking with Dave Nolan a little earlier in the season, Georgetown was really looking for where those other goals were going to come from. Gia Vicari was scoring quite a bit, but looking for those other consistent goal scorers. When you look at the past couple of games, you have a goal by Cleverly, her second of the year, a goal by Livingstone today. You have Cummings scoring in the Big East Tournament Championship.
And now Lease turns, gives it back to Vicari, and it's saved by McQuillan.
Another quality chance for Georgetown. And just to finish the thought, you have Parcell and Turner who scored. So I think getting this diversity in the offense, the balance, that's another thing that's going to make Georgetown a very dangerous team if this result holds and they continue on in this tournament. They really have not let the ball get anywhere near Allie Auger in the second half. It is tremendous the way that Georgetown has possessed, the number of opportunities that they have generated. You see there Vicari a little frustrated on the touch. Central Connecticut State gonna mix things up. Jamie Collymore the junior, going to come in. Couple goals and assists on the season. Looking for that spark.
Yeah, they need to find it, and quickly. It's just been a game where Georgetown's controlled the possession so much. And I just find it interesting that now you're talking about a third straight game in which the Hoyas right around that 55 to 65 minute mark. In that 10-minute span, that has been money time for them. And just like the Butler game, the goals today have come 6 minutes apart. Royson with a run. Royson looking there for Fernandez Powell. And Georgetown just keeps looking for more now. They don't let up.
Well, this is exactly the mentality that you have to be playing with at this juncture of the season. And I think a credit to Georgetown, because we've talked about how they've been able to just keep coming and get those quality goals. They don't let the frustration get to them. It doesn't get in their heads. Instead, they just keep generating those chances. For Amanda McQuillan, she has played very well. She has just been on the wrong end of two fantastic opportunities that Georgetown has created.
Based on our scoreboard from NCAA.com, Brown and St. John's, as well as Providence and Hofstra, both scoreless about midway through the first half.
We were so impressed with that St. John's team in the Big East tournament.
And those are the only other two games going on in the NCAA tournament at the moment. 3 of 10 today.
And of course, they have one of the best offensive players in the country in Johnny Kajan. She is always capable of fireworks. Nice opportunity there for Christina Kelly.
Xavier will be in action later this afternoon against Milwaukee for Eastern time. Winner of that one will get number 1 seed Virginia. How about Samford taking down Auburn 2-0 last night? Bit of a surprise.
It's the reason you love the NCAA tournament. So much excitement. Anything can happen. And Georgetown right now trying to make sure they are taking control of their destiny.
And it's a Hoyas team. It's only human nature to take a look at the scoreboard. And seeing that UCLA went down last night, we'll see what next weekend holds when official word comes in. But Georgetown is the remaining seeded team in that pod now. When you think about the fact that Santa Clara, Stanford, they'll play this afternoon. We know of one second-round meeting in that pod, Wisconsin and UC Irvine, who pulled off the upset over UCLA. And so Georgetown, obviously their goal in mind will be to try to host next weekend, but the NCAA, we await their official word on that as Central brings in Giovanna Inzarello, the sophomore, coming on, as well as Emma Lou Smith, the freshman from South Windsor, Connecticut.
It's interesting, we talked about the last time these two teams played, it was really Georgetown in the second half. In that contest, it has been Georgetown in the second half today. And Georgetown has just come at the Blue Devils in waves. It has been different players at different times, and I continue to marvel at Eliza Turner.
All the future. Turner and Doyle to Vicari. Now Vicari with a cutback. Vicari with the left foot. Lease makes it 3. Julia Lease with a dagger.
And it's Gia Vicari who serves it up so beautifully for Julia Lease. I love the evolution of Gia Vicari. It is going to make her so dangerous in this tournament. It is going to make her one to watch for next year. And Julia Lease is as special gets. She is such a competitor, a warrior. Every facet of her game is what you need it to be. And now Georgetown with this 3-goal lead. The floodgates have opened and the Hoyas are rolling.
4th goal of the season for the Big East Midfielder of the Year. And for Vicari, now up to 8 assists on her season. Between Vicari and Fernandez-Powell, they've got 18 dishes.
And again, it just makes Gia Vicari such a dangerous player. Defenses are not going to know what to do with her. I was mentioning Johnny Kajan earlier, and that's one thing that really elevated in Kajan's game, her ability to pass to her teammates when she attracts 2 or 3 defenders, as we have seen cover Kajan at times. And now for Vicari, that's the level of attention you're going to have to give her, because her game just gets better and better.
Well, that's a sharp foul. That should be a card, and it will be.
Little frustration.
That's a shove to the turf in a place that, while on the other end, no need for that, as Cummings will restart it. The Hoyas so unfazed by pretty much anything. You never really see them, Monica, in a moment get rattled or go at a team. You know, even though in the first half they might have been a little frustrated that they didn't get their goal, I think it's really something that the constant mindset of this program, as Aaron Martin comes on for Cleverly, who's had such a great Saturday, that they don't get rattled.
They don't, and that is partially coaching staff, and it's partially these players who come up through this program who learn from the elder statesmen of the program. Now it's Kellyanne Livingstone, it's Julia Lease, in the future it will be others, but you have these waves of players that just continue this culture of Georgetown soccer. You just go back through the history, you think about Corbose, you think about Elizabeth Wenger, you think about these players that set the tone. And that is a reason that these teams are special teams, because they have that level of leadership on the field.
Maya Fernandez-Powell into this one. Yeah, you just think about the consistency of Dave Nolan's program. 15 consecutive seasons with double-digit wins. This, the 10th consecutive year that Georgetown is in this NCAA tournament field, as Erica Harwood will come back on, this time for Cyan Doyle.
Erica Harwood.
And I think you'll start to see Dave Nolan now going to his bench. You talked earlier, he has a lot of these players who are a little banged up at this juncture of the season. He's going to get some minutes for some of his younger players as well in these NCAA tournament games, because this is important. You think about Jenna Royson, who played minutes back in 2018 as a freshman. Those minutes become important as you get to become a junior and senior.
Well said. You build up. It's part of the evolution of a player in a program. Good job there by Blue Devils. And now they have a player out wide here. If they can get it to, this one just sails out. Central. Every time they do get going, get something going, it feels like it has to be rushed.
Because they know that the defense is coming. They can hear the footsteps of these Georgetown defenders. They're so quick. It is very hard to get past them. And so they do feel like they have to rush what they're doing. They've gotten a little out of their game because of that Georgetown defensive pressure.
Turner.
It has been tremendous what the Hoyas have done in the second half.
Now on this near side, a turn by Vicari, back to Lease. Julia Lease just cuts back, always in control as Cummings takes it. Now to Kellyanne Livingstone with a chip towards Royson, and the Hoyas, they have had possession for 90%, if not more, of this match. As here's Fernandez-Powell.
They truly have controlled the ball. They've been very intentional in what they've done on the field.
Royce into the left edge, just out of the range.
Too heavy of a touch there, but a nice idea by Jenna Royson, who has been hampered with injuries, and another player who, they'd just have to have out on the field.
An update from Hofstra. The Pride lead Providence 2-0, CAA champions in the 32nd minute, taking control of that one. St. John's and Brown still in a scoreless affair deep in the first half.
Hofstra, such a great program from the CAA. I actually got to call the CAA soccer tournament last year. They are one of the phenomenal programs in that conference. And as we know, that is a tough Providence team to play. Coach Lopes does such a great job.
Georgetown scoring all three in this second half, coming in the 56th, 62nd, and 69th minutes. Kellyanne Livingstone getting the Hoyas on the board off a set piece. And Daisy cleverly, after her assist, scoring as Georgetown brings on Claire Manning, and then Julia Lease with her 4th tally of the year, the assist by Vicari. And it has been a Hoya rout here in this second half.
And Caitlin Parcell getting a breather now. She's another player that they just feel like they have to have her, that experience on the field, the way that she and Jenna Royson play in that midfield role, pushed forward, just end line to end line. When Georgetown not having Boo Jackson available, Parcell and Royson have really shouldered a lot of those minutes, and now you'll see Fox replace Vicari.
Well, and you always hope that you can have a situation like this too, to keep everybody rested, but also to give those players an opportunity who are putting in the work that doesn't always get noticed.
Well, and as we talked about at a program like Georgetown, when you come in, you're playing behind players who are phenomenal athletes, who have put in their time in the program. They know how things work. They have that level of experience, so you have to bide your time. You have to be patient. And the minutes that you get out on the field, you really have to take advantage.
Another throw on the far side for Royson.
Again, she has that long throw. You see everyone backing up because they know what Jenna Royson is capable of.
Now Wynn taking it as well. She gets it back with the left foot now. This one just spins to Inzello. Harwood, freshman. To Manning.
And I love how Eliza Turner just pushes forward.
And there is Turner. It's a great ball. Now top of the box. The Blue Devils fighting this one off, but the Hoyas continue to just keep on coming.
You really didn't see that out of Eliza Turner in the first half of the season. You know, getting used to the program, playing that defensive back role. By trade, she's a midfielder, but as she's gotten more comfortable, she has pushed forward on those runs. She has been so dynamic. I am so excited about the future for Eliza Turner.
Now Lease, who's already scored once. Julia Lease putting on a master class.
It's the quality of the goals that Georgetown is scoring. These are beautiful strikes. You think about the Cleverly goal, this goal by Julia Lease, beautiful goals. Georgetown has all the momentum. They're absolutely clicking. And for a player like Julia Lease, who really does all the dirty work out on the field, she gives you 1,010% every single day. You really like to see her get these moments of brilliance to shine, to really show you everything in the arsenal of Julia Lease. As I said before, I'll say it again, she is as special as it gets on the soccer field.
She really is. Top shelf right there. And I think that it sums it up. Dave Nolan said to us last week, Monica, and this was so striking to hear. He said, you have players sometimes who will try to control a locker room, and it doesn't really resonate that well, or players aren't as receptive because they'll say, well, that's easy for you to say. You're really talented. We can't match that, or that's not my position on the field. Julia Lease will direct the other players when needed, and Dave Nolan said it says everything about Julia that everybody listens to her. When she talks, she has the attention of a room. And in 2021 life of social media, and you have all different kinds of attitudes, egos in a locker room, Julia Lease's voice rises above everybody else, and everybody listens to her for this program.
And I think she's certainly a talented soccer player. You can certainly say that. But it's the work ethic. And I think it's the fact that I have never seen her play.
Here she comes again. With a ball, point blank. It's a high five for Georgetown. Sophie Fox.
And it all starts with Julia Lease. She must know we're talking about her because she is putting on a clinic right now on the soccer field. And you almost start to see the passing of the torch, so to speak, when Dave Nolan talking about it's really kind of becoming her team, passed on from Kellyanne Livingstone. And now Julia Lease. I think it all started last year, the Big East tournament final with Julia Lease, and the way that she has played, and she has just taken over this contest, and she's unstoppable.
5 goals in a span of 22 minutes, 2 by Lease and an assist by Lease.
And it was a perfect ball. The level of pace on that ball to set up Sophie Fox. But as we were talking about earlier, I think the thing about it is with Julia Lease, she leads by example. She brings that work ethic to the field. And I've heard Dave Nolan say before that players don't want to let Kellyanne Livingstone down, that players feel like they have to elevate to her level because they don't want to let her down. I think the Georgetown Hoyas feel that way about Julia Lease. They don't want to let her down. They want to match her level of play, her intensity, her fire. And it has been, if the first half of the second half was Daisy Cleverly, the second half of the second half has been Julia Lease. Those two midfielders took over this contest, and it has been all Georgetown Hoyas.
An onslaught by the Hoyas. You're getting the full package, and you think about the fact, Monica, that in their pod, UC Irvine upset UCLA last night. Sometimes you need to bounce the ball. Now the Hoyas have their sights set on potentially hosting next weekend. You have the confidence of a win like this and the goal scoring coming from different sources. We know about their defense. It is all out there for this program, how 24 hours can change the whole dynamic of your postseason.
And this is a lot of momentum to carry into next weekend, to realize that some of those pieces to the puzzle that haven't been there at times this season just seem like they're starting to fit together. And this is the time of year that you want to do it, as Julia Lease, I think, only coming off the field potentially to get the level of applause from the fans and to give her a little break, because she is another player that has logged a lot of minutes, is always nursing those little things that every player has to deal with at this juncture of the season. And a big hug on the sidelines for Julia Lease.
She's a pro and will be one day. You know, you think about it, we were talking to Dave Nolan, and the Hoyas have won 5 of the last 6 Big East tournament titles, and he told us, I'm still thinking about the one we lost.
And I think that's true of every player that was on the field for that. Those seem to often stick with you more than all the ones that you won.
Oh, are you kidding me? Make it 6.
And it's just all clicking right now for Georgetown. All the goals that weren't falling in the first half are now in the back of the net in the second. And for Paige Leonard,
Jenna Royston.
I'm very happy to see that for Paige Leonard.
We'll get another look here. Royston feeding this in, and Erica Harwood delivering for Georgetown. Everybody getting in on the fun. And part of the present and future of this program.
That's the first goal this season for Erica Harwood. And you get the sense, first of many, in terms of a Georgetown career, the way that she's elevating the level of play right now. And that's Jenna Royston. And I think that's the other thing for Georgetown. We've talked a lot about Lise and Cleverly, and they've been instrumental today. But think about all the players who have a point in the contest. That's going to be critical as Georgetown progresses on in this tournament. They need to be that team where the scoring can really come from anywhere. It has been a statement win for Georgetown against a very strong Central Connecticut State team. You can't take anything away from them, the season that they've had, what they've been able to do. But I think for Georgetown, as I was mentioning earlier, the puzzle pieces just start to be all fitting together right now.
That's the key element here. You've had this team since August.
I think
Is this team now picking up steam from where they were earlier in your mind? Like, have you seen the evolution of a group, and if so, how?
Well, one thing that I mentioned, and Dave Nolan has talked a lot about this, is you get another great through ball by Georgetown, but they were really looking for that midfield to contribute a little bit more offensively. Fernandez Powell, Cleverly, Julia Lise, and those pieces just seem to be fitting more together, that contribution from the midfield. And I think that's been a big reason for a lot of the success that we've seen lately out of Georgetown. And if they can continue to get that level of play from that group of midfielders and to combine that with Vicari and Cyan Doyle up top, it's a team that can make a very deep run in this tournament.
Just one loss on the season. Just 9 goals conceded here. A strike off target by McGlynn, who's had a terrific season and will be back for this program next year. The Ireland native, NEC tournament MVP. And I have to credit her. I know that this is emotional for those Blue Devils seniors, but the fact is, you think about this Central senior class, Monica, they've done nothing but win 4 consecutive NEC championships. They have a lot to be proud of.
There are not a lot of players that can say that in their career.
Here comes Harwood. She already scored her first career goal. She just lays this back. And this one's spinning. Stays in.
The Hoyas just not letting up. But back to your point, John, about this senior class for Central Connecticut State. One word.
Harwood lays this back. It stayed in, just staying inside the line somehow, as it'll be a Hoya throw. But continue, Monica.
One word will come to mind when you think about them, and it is winners. And you cannot, like I said, take anything away from the careers that they've had, what they've done for this program. You know, we've talked a lot about Georgetown in terms of having those players, that continuity of culture with a program.
Manning working the corner. Now for Georgetown as Lenane will line up. This is the 14th corner of the afternoon. And Lenane checking on. Fernandez Powell sitting down. Lenane to the back post and floats up above.
Livingstone was looking for her second of the afternoon. She is so active on those set pieces. And for Livingstone, when you think about her storied career, she knows in the back of her mind this is really it for her with this NCAA tournament. She has logged so many minutes out on this field, what she has done for this program, and she wants to finish out her career in style.
The Hoyas with the College Cup appearances 2016 and 18, They have made the runs before. This team, maybe it's different. It's not the Georgetown that just always has that one player who's in elite fashion you can just count on for a goal, but their offense has picked up steam. Now a left-footed strike that just goes by target by Fox.
And you like what you're seeing out of Sophie Fox right now. She's getting some minutes to shine in this contest, and she's part of that future as well for the Hoyas. It will be her senior year next year. But you like what you're seeing out of some of the reserves, taking advantage of the minutes that they're getting. And I think the lesson learned from this game is you have to limit Georgetown set pieces, because if they get enough opportunities, they will make you pay.
They really will. And that's the technical brand that they play with. So just clinical in all facets, that when you give them an opening, it's why they've been so consistent as a program. They will capitalize, and have throughout the years. And today, you give Central Connecticut credit because they went in the locker room at the break in a scoreless affair. But like we've seen here now, the last 3 games, in the second half, the Hoyas just break out. Here's Harwood. Harwood hits it back, lays it off, left side in the box, that shot blocked. And with 2.5 to go, a Hoya throw.
They just wear you down. They have too many different weapons. They have such great pace and quickness. And you do feel like starting to see them gel even more.
Harwood at 6, and successfully defended by Lawler this time. The Hoyas will get the winner of Santa Clara and Stanford. And they square off at 4 Eastern time this afternoon. Now down the left side here, Central looking for a moment in this NCAA tournament game. McGlynn and Kellyanne Livingstone, yet another play.
You think about Eliza Turner and Sydney Cummings collapsing back on Kelly Brady, and then you have Kellyanne Livingstone waiting right there. Those back 3 for Georgetown, they are so difficult to get past. And then if you do get past them, the person waiting is Allie Auger. And that is a difficult problem to solve for a lot of offenses.
Harwood just falls down this time. Yeah, I got to tell you, next weekend when Auger faces that first shot, it kind of creates the strange dynamic, right? Of course, as a defense, you don't want to ever have your goalkeeper get tested. But, you know, when she does get tested, it will have been a little while. Close to 2 weeks.
And, you know, a lot of coaches say this, and I think that it's true. Even when goalkeepers aren't touching the ball, they're so important because of the way that they help organize the defense. And she certainly does a very good job with that. But she has such an impressive group of 3 in front of her that she has to really be able to wait and wait and wait till that one moment that she's called upon to be brilliant.
And the thing is, she stays ready. She doesn't face a lot of shots. But against Jessica Garziano and St. John's, the one major opportunity the Red Storm had, Allie Auger was ready for it. So, look, when it has been her time, and there haven't been many moments where she's had to be big time, today, the Georgetown Hoyas roll, and the Big East champions advance on in the NCAA tournament.
What a day for Georgetown to put 6 goals on the scoreboard, to take that type of momentum into next weekend. Julia Lease on your screen right there. Great players step up in big-time moments, and that's what you saw out of number 25 in white. It was a brilliant performance out of Julia Lease, but you can't even say it was a surprising performance, because that's just what Julia Lease does every single game. But I do, John, want to talk about Central Connecticut State for a quick minute and to congratulate Coach Darcy and his team on the season that they had. Because when you have that bullseye on your back to win a 4th straight NEC championship, that tells you volumes about the team, the program, the coach. Congratulations to the Blue Devils. A tremendous season for Central Connecticut State.
6 goals in a span of 25 minutes and change by the Georgetown Hoyas. They move to 14-1-6 on the season, and the Georgetown Hoyas heading to the round of 32. They'll meet the winner of Santa Clara and Stanford. That game in Santa Clara at 4 Eastern time. Kellyanne Livingstone, Daisy Cleverly, Julia Lee, Sophie Fox, and Erica Harwood all tally goals. And for Julia Lease, a 5-point day, 2 goals and an assist. For Daisy Cleverly, a 3-point day with a goal and an assist. And Dave Nolan's program, a constant to the tournament over the last decade, will head to the round of 32 and meet the winner of Santa Clara and Stanford. Monica, your final thoughts?
For Georgetown, this is exactly what they needed today. You're seeing them just gel even more, elevating to that next level. This is what you want to see with a team in the postseason. I think Georgetown checked a lot of boxes here at Shaw Field this afternoon.
So the Hoyas win 6-0 over Central Connecticut, and they will find out who they're facing in the round of 32 later today. It'll be Santa Clara or Stanford. For Monica Moore, my partner, for our producer, Eric Curden, and our terrific Rush Media crew here on site in D.C., it was all Hoyas all the time in this big second half. Georgetown heading to the second round of the NCAA Women's Soccer Tournament. This is John Fanta saying so long from our nation's capital. Thanks for watching the NCAA Tournament, and we will keep you covered throughout as Georgetown is moving on. The Big East champs with a dominant performance.